What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name is Adam Vale, senior editor over at thecoalition.com.
My name is Lawrence, aka a punk with toys on all the social medias. But you've just watched 2 episodes in a row of us, so you already know this.
Yes, you've been watching, you're binging this. You already binged the show on Amazon, and your eyes are all burning. You're like,
you just spent 3 hours at midnight on Wednesday watching the Terminal List, Dark Wolf, and you jumped right in. You found us, and now you're on a 6-hour marathon of Dark Wolf.
So crazy, right? You already called out of work. You're like, I gotta do it. Dark Wolf for life. It sounds like a band. I'm sure there is a band called Dark Wolf.
Oh, there's gotta be.
You know,
and if you guys have been watching, you've been binge watched. Thank you very much. The fact that it is a lot of content to consume between the TV show and this podcast. I always feel weird calling it a podcast because it's a YouTube show.
Yeah,
but
it's
technically that's not what podcasts were, but that's what everyone calls it. Anyway, we're gonna get into this. This is episode 3. Dark. What's it called again? What's past
is prologue.
So before we get into it, please take a second, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you're notified every time we drop another episode.
Yes, because we're dropping all kinds of stuff right now. But hey, this is it. 3 episodes, day 1, like Lawrence said, is a lot for just people to watch, a lot of everything. This is also why we decided to split it up. You're going to see a lot of outlets saying, 1 through 3, jump in. That's a lot to cram into one spot. And what if you didn't watch 2 or 3? What if you only watched 1? What if you did? You know what I mean? We don't want to spoil it. So we're taking the time out and we're doing it for the people. And this is how we like to consume, because we're not big on binging. That's just not our thing. We don't cover binge shows. We try to do the week by weeks. That's it. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll make that. But right now, that's not our thing. That's not.
I don't see us ever. And again, I think we can get some Netflix stuff, but I don't see us ever doing Netflix, because could you imagine doing 8 episodes? And you're dropping it. No one's gonna. I can't imagine people would watch it. That's something that you would just do like a 2-hour block where you break down the whole season. That's a lot. And again,
it's too much. It's too much. Like, even as someone part of the press, and I get the screeners, even if they were to say, here's all 8 right now and it's dropping in a week, that's still a lot that we have to watch, then cover each one. For what? When someone's going to binge through all of it, they probably just want to hear, I don't care, let me just see the whole review. I don't care.
And I think something like that, when you look at the binge watching, I know we'll get into the episode here. When you're binge watching stuff like that, if it's not something you've watched, you may go looking on YouTube to say, hey, is this even worth my investment? And that's what you're going to hear. And then you're going to say, okay. But if you've just binge watched 8 episodes on Netflix, and again, wonderful concept when you live in Michigan and it's January or February, and the last thing you want to do is leave your house. But again, right now it's summertime, and I mean, it's coming down to the end, but still, like, it's there's a lot of nice stuff going on. So anyway, let's get into this.
Let's get into this. Simple Man is the intro. We heard it in the last episode, and I was like, that's cool. They're playing. I didn't even realize that is the show's intro song.
So we did.
So it's like, right? Because we at first we were like, we watching episode 2? I was like, no.
I totally thought we were rewatching. I'm like, did they mess up here? Like, what's going on?
No. But yeah, Simple Man, Leonard Skinner, that's a classic. So that's cool. So it starts off, we see Ben and Hastings. For now on, people, apologies. I didn't realize I was saying, so I was saying Raffi. It's whatever. It's Hastings, Lieutenant Hastings. Exactly. It's Raff, and I was saying Raffi. I don't know why I was saying that, but we're just going with Lieutenant Hastings. So Ben and Hastings are running out. Instantly, I knew they're running in the woods, that this is a training drill or something, because wasn't panicking or anything. Ben
he was carrying the big suit. I mean, I will say this: when I first saw it, I thought he was running from Hastings. I thought Edwards was running from Hastings in some sort of some sort of training exercise. Not that they were they're competing, which I think this is actually pretty funny.
Yeah, pretty funny. They're doing their. It looks like they're setting up their own drills for training purposes. They're running in the woods. They go. They do a tire pull. They run to another checkpoint. They grab a weapon with a silencer. Take some shots. And then what was it? Ben was like, oh, no, "I'll just call this a tie."
He says after they shoot everything, and it literally does end in a perfect tie. Edward Edward says, tie or I won, whichever you prefer." as long as you don't win, that's what he was saying.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got some jokes with him. It's pretty cool, you know. But
He's a different character than Reacher, right? Like we talked about this when we watched Reacher, right? Where he's very dry. And I don't mean the actor, I mean the character of Reacher is very dry.
humor, yeah.
Edwards is as an act or as a character completely different than what we see with Reacher. And again, I know two different shows before anyone says they're not even the same universe. I know I get that.
Yeah. But it's the whole idea of military drama, you know, suspense, thriller, all that stuff. And they're the leading guys in both shows. So, yeah, I get it. I hear you. All right. So they go to Geneva. And then this is where we see that there's some other shady stuff going on, right? We got the professor. He's meeting with some shady people. He's making some deals regarding some nuclear documents that he's going to put up for sale. And that's it. They're just setting things in motion. But he's being followed. He's being tracked. They know something's going on.
Yeah, they actually bring up the fact that the other guy was killed, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, not killed, but that they've lost contact with him, so they have no idea what's actually happening. And the guy giving the speech, Vahid is his brother, and it's all subtitle. So if you don't read, or you're like me and you're a poor reader, just kind of take your time. I know I have to. And the guy giving the speech is Cyrus.
But here's the thing with this: when they were like, "All right, well, they don't know," he said there was a lot of people there. The police would have shown them. I get it; they took the bodies, but still, that should be a sign right there because everyone that was part of that meeting is MIA, right? The whole Jed's crew has them.
They're all MIA, but again, did he go off the grid? Was he killed? I think that's what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
And with that said, this is 7 years ago. So, I mean, technology was pretty far up, but it wasn't like it is even like now. Well, I mean, it was pretty good, but maybe there are certain things. I mean, they talk about the CVT cameras a lot, in this series so far.
Yeah. So we get back to the base of operations, and now we're seeing some new members join up. Right? We got Tal's there. She's Jed's there. Mo shows up. Oh wow, Ben is thrilled. How did Mo get involved with this? I don't know, really.
Well, Mo's been working with him for quite some time, and now remember, sorry, I'm trying to think of his name here.
Which one?
Haverford, he's been doing this for who knows how long. He's part of the CIA. We know Mo is not part of the military, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe he's part of the
he's that other group, the special ops group.
Yes.
Right?
So
with Iraqi that he was helping.
Yeah. So he's not in the Navy, not in the Army, nothing like that. So he's used, but he's been being used for many missions, according to Haverford. And then we see Ish get off. Don't worry about his name. You won't need to know it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, yeah, that was something that because here's real quick, people. So we look up on IMDb. We try to get some info. So Lawrence was looking up because this guy's not even listed. I wonder why. Well, we find out why.
Yes. Even Boozer is, and
I know. You would think everybody. I mean, if you go to full casting, maybe it's there sometimes. But we saw this on another show. Which one was it? Was it Mobland? The same
Mobland had a whole bunch that weren't like, we're like, who is this person?
Yeah, it's like not even listed as an extra. Meanwhile, they have speaking lines. It's like, come on.
And anyone where it's a lot of foreign names, it's even that much harder.
Yeah,
because again, they're pronounced differently. You
Mhm.
catch them, and you're like, they're not on here.
Yep.
Where are
Yep. So it turns out, and I think I have an image here, right? So it turns out that Ish has a past with Jed, right? They worked on back when Jed was part of the military. It looks like they went on missions together. They have a past, so that's where that
yeah,
whole thing comes in.
not for long.
Not for long,
Well,
right? And
not for the long. I guess
not for the long, yeah. Oh man, there you go. So that so Ish looks over at
I'm
Ben.
foreshadowing things, guys.
Mhm. Right? He looks over at Ben. He's like, "Yeah, I heard a lot about you and Hastings and this and this and that." And he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "What from Jed?" Oh no, no, not him. From the other guy, and is our favorite brother over here, Landry, the short
Yeah,
one of the
the
three
short Hemsworth.
Hensworth brothers, the one that we mistaken for Hastings, because he really does look like one of the brothers.
And I said to you, and again, we've watched 2 episodes, and I didn't even think like all the things we talked about. Eventually, like Luke Hemsworth, he's got to look at Tom Hopper, that's the actor's name, and be like, "Oh my god, it is like talking to my brother." He sounds like him.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, he looks enough like him that he could pass, but just the voice is just Chris Hemsworth. If he
yeah,
decided I'm done with Thor, this is the guy you have to go and be like, you're replacing him.
yep, yep.
So
So hey, and it's funny with Landry being there. Well, now Ben Hastings. They don't like this guy. They blame him for a
no.
lot of it. And he was like, it's business. Wasn't really doing it for that. And he's still CIA. And if they haven't officially announced that they're working, they said the agency. We assumed it's CIA, right? And now
Well,
Landry's
that's
there.
what
He's
we
saying,
assume, but what happens when you assume something?
yeah, we're wrong, and
We
we
make an
shouldn't be
ass out of
assuming.
you and me.
Yeah, exactly. We shouldn't assume that. So this is some off the grid type of project. But
Yeah.
the only gripe I have with this putting together this new special unit is that when Jed in the last episode approached Ben and Hastings, he made it seem like this is all he needed, right? He was like, "Hey, I need you guys. Special mission. Go do an assassination. Bing, boom. We're done." But now it's like, "Oh no, we got this guy. We got Ish coming. We got Landry. Oh, Landry, the prick that calls. Yeah, yeah. We're bringing him in. We're bringing him in. We got Mo to translate, and it's just." It just seems a little off because how do you explain
Well,
this
it's
unless they're
still small. It's still a small group.
yeah,
You know,
I
the two
guess.
females were already there.
Yeah.
Um, and Tal seems like she's more internal. Like she doesn't really go out. Where Eliza here is clearly the one of the operatives that's going to be
Mhm.
out and about.
She was a
Uh,
waitress for people who don't know. That was the waitress that was
yes,
in the club. Yeah.
and we already know what Mo is, and I'm assuming that Landry is not going to be, one on the ground, uh,
Uh-huh.
all that much. He is today, but actually in this episode they all are.
Yeah. I also feel like he's trying to provide the comic relief with the snarky one-liners and stuff. We have an audio
Possibly,
later on with him and Hastings, but he's doing a lot of that. Like what we would go with the trope of the traditionals, like,
yeah.
"Oh, I don't give a shit" type of thing, and talking all
When he
crazy.
does
So
tell them, he says, "I don't care that you killed him, but you left me out of a job too." So
I don't know how that. Well, I mean, you're CIA. You just get assigned to something else. What do you mean you got fired? This was it. It wasn't his call. It wasn't his fault.
but he
That
also
I
wasn't
didn't.
in charge.
Yeah, was he?
No, he wasn't in
He
charge.
wasn't. It was a woman that was in charge, right? The one that
Uh,
was.
no, no,
It
it
wasn't even
was
her.
the guy. There was a woman there that was part of the military.
Then there was, but there was one. All right, okay.
I don't know.
It was
Oh,
either
so
way.
I mean,
Either way, it doesn't even matter.
I know for
He's
some
here.
of you that was just like 2 hours ago, but
Yeah,
for
I
us
know.
it was
That's
days
also
and a
multiple
week ago.
pages back. Multiple pages back, people. Right. Let's see what else we get here. We get a moment with Ben and Mo. They start talking about everything here. Mo tells him some good news. The the translator that he had, the one that did the bombing and all that. Remember with the kids and that caused all the
Yep.
controversy. They got their visas. They headed to the States. And he showed him a picture. He was like, "Yeah,
I'm,
they're good."
I want to say this. Taylor Kitsch, I think, has he's wonderful in this. As Ben Edwards, he has this undying care for these kids. That was his biggest fear when everything happened, and I think that him and the actor of Mo, they have really good chemistry. And so when Mo like presents it to him, like you can see on him a huge weight that's lifted off his shoulders. Like at least these kids are going to be taken care of.
Yeah, and that was nice of Mo to present that because
Yeah.
that could have been who cares, doesn't matter. But he knows that Ben Edwards has real feelings for these kids. He really cares. I mean, look at
Uh,
it. He risks his whole career because of what took place with these
yeah.
kids.
So Mo is his name is Dar Salam. I think he's a wonderful actor. I've seen him in a couple things. In this so far, I just think he does a wonderful job. He understands chemistry with his, with the people that he's working with,
Hmm.
and it's fully believable.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
So, so speaking of that, so it's now nighttime, and we see that Ben walks in into the garage there, and we see Tal is working on some motorcycles.
yeah,
And he was like, "Oh, you're working on bikes? Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then they do a little small talk, and he offers to help. And she gives him this look, and was like, "Go do your rounds." She said something to that
yeah.
effect, right? Like go over. I didn't really understand what we were supposed to get from this scene because I don't think it was Ben trying to be Mr. Slick Eye, like, "Hey, maybe I got a shot." No, I wasn't getting that at all. But maybe she didn't even want to deal with small talk or even become friends. Maybe that's what we were supposed to get from this. That it's all business. Like,
This episode, there's a lot of filler.
so yeah, this would definitely qualify as filler. People
This
weren't sure
is
this would, unless it comes back in some other way. I don't see how anything
so.
here.
So the one thing that we see here is that he starts talking about the motorcycles. She tells him, go do your rounds, and then he says something, and he says, because he knows what type of motorcycle it is. He
Mhm.
they're showing that he's a motorcyclist enthusiast, but she also says where they're at, I wouldn't be caught on a motorcycle, or I can't be on a motorcycle. It would have to be yours. And later on in the episode, we do see him ride the motorcycle. So I think that's all that is kind of setting up
That's
a
probably
little
yeah.
too much.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I would have assumed that he knew how to ride a motorcycle. I don't need something like this, but it didn't really produce anything. So who knows? Maybe something else will come after. But right now, we're putting this in the filler category. Boop. But what's not filler is the next scene because Jed finds out about and Tally find out that the phone that they confiscated from the target now just received a text. There's a meeting. Someone wants to meet. Right. So this is over in Budapest. And they're like, all right, we're gonna go, we're gonna intercept Mo. From what they understand, no one has seen the target that died, that they killed. So
Yeah.
they were like, oh, Mo is going to fill in, right, going forward. So it's fine. Everything will be fine. The problem I have with that is maybe they haven't seen him, but they've heard the man's voice. It's like that. How do you
Well, with
mask
that
that?
said,
Like,
voices do sound different over the phone.
I guess so.
Not so much as much as I used to back in the day. But again, sometimes voices do sound a little bit different.
Oh, well, yeah. So nice setup. I love these setups. I love all these spy dramas and these type of situations where they have a unit that's well suited for the task. Everybody has a role, right? You got Landry that's in the car just in case they have to make a quick exit. You got Mo who is now waiting with doing to meet up with the target that they're going to send a text reply to in that location. We have Ben, right, doing a Overwatch up
Yep.
top. You got Ish, who's across the street keeping an eye. You got Hastings also in another location. I mean, at all corners, they got this whole area on lock. They're ready for whatever happens because Tal is going to send a reply that they're there. This is it.
Yep.
Sends a message. They sort of do a quick swerve because you see Mo look. You see one guy because they were like, all right, whoever messes with their phone is the person that they're making contact with. See one guy looks at his phone, gets up, but then walks away, and then poof, we see this young
Yeah.
20-something woman on her phone, and then she calls back, and they don't pick up,
Which
and they're
this,
like, all right,
well,
this
I
is
guess I was gonna say in this day and age, again, we're talking about 7 years ago, so maybe not everyone was on their phone as much. It was still again, you got to think this is before the pandemic.
before the pandemic, but still smartphones. Because remember the
You're
early
right.
days of phones, we did have text messaging, but we didn't have all the crazy apps. You couldn't watch YouTube. You didn't have that type of video quality. You didn't have all these fun apps and stuff like that. A lot of it was still text based. You still had a lot of websites
I
that
think
you're reading articles and
so. This
stuff.
is what I'm gonna say. This is 7 years ago, and when you think 7 years ago, this also had to be recorded about a year ago. So you're looking about 8 years ago. There are some. I think there are some liberties that they didn't really think about, like this whole like transferring, how they transfer stuff. Um, I don't know if phones could do
Yeah,
that.
right.
If
That's
she
right.
calls, he doesn't answer the phone. Now we're gonna find out that she does know what he looks like.
That's
So by him
right.
not answering the phone, it doesn't matter. Anyone's phone could be ringing right at the same time. But he was
Uh,
far enough away that so he doesn't answer the phone, but then he follows her. He follows her back to
that was it.
at this part I was a little like, well, like he's following her.
They have to know who she is and what's going on and where she's going. So they
Yeah.
do the whole tail thing. Makes sense. I'm all right with
Well, but when she walks into her room, he's there. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
that's it. That's
Considering
it.
they don't know who she is yet.
Um, yeah, I mean, that's right. I don't know how he knows her apartment number. That's a good point. I don't maybe there's
Unless
something
if
we
we
missed.
missed something, but
Unless we missed something. I don't know if she texts that. That could have been one of the texts. Again, in the comments, people, did we miss that in the text? Because
uh,
that's the only thing I can think of. Because yeah,
well,
he's in the
you know
room.
what? I guess I she maybe she did, only because we find out who she is really short, like in a couple seconds, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he gets into the whole thing, starts talking. She points out that she is the daughter, and she
Yes.
knows that he's not the father of the whole thing, and he wants proof. He dumps the whole purse. She shows the picture, he sees it, but now that she knows, he's got to do what he's got to do, and she's crying and the whole thing, and he takes a shot,
Yep.
right?
And that's
And
it.
I I I knew I don't know. I guess because they didn't
You
show
said
it.
it right away.
Yeah, I was like, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He didn't want to deal with her before, and he definitely, I don't think, wants to deal with it now. We also, real quick, we didn't bring it up because it was just really quick when he was in transport to the location in the car. Remember, he was sleeping and had like a nightmare or
Yeah.
something like that, and Tal was trying to say, how do you deal with the nightmares? It's just because you haven't befriended them or something like that. That's what grandma said. So it's already setting things up that he has a dark past with things. And you heard a lot of screaming. So they didn't show us thing, but we hear women, children, crying and all that stuff. It's just planting the seed in your head. So when this moment comes and you hear him and he takes a shot and then he leaves and then it's just like, is it good? Yeah, yeah, it's done. Whatever needs to be done. Doesn't want to talk about it. Just go. I didn't think he did it.
Yeah. Well, you called it right away.
Yeah, no, it just didn't seem right.
And again, but the other thing was when they were scouting it out, Mo and Ish are the ones that are talking about about going in there.
Yeah, yeah, it was
He
Moanish.
wasn't really supposed to, is what I kind of gather.
That wasn't part of the operation. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was like, hey, we don't have to tell Jed. Let's just try to do our own little espionage. Let's go try to figure this out ourselves
Yeah.
because and it paid off. It paid off, I think.
Well, yeah. Um. So this is where we see. So then we skip to
It's just the Landry,
Oh
right?
no. Um. Oh no. Tal shows up because this is after. This is when they're back at the safe house, and Tal says that she knows. She showed up on CTC camera shortly after,
Yeah,
and on her way out of town.
they showed the
And
daughter. Yeah,
yeah, and Mo pretty much says she needed to get away. Basically, right? She needed to get away. He trusts her. Doesn't need to worry about it.
yeah. She gives a whole speech about trusting him, and then
Yeah.
he says, hey, he opens up. He tells the story of this guy who came into his area where he lived, raped his sisters, killed them, whole big scandal, but they left him alive. He was like, what, 14 or something like that, he said. And he made it his life goal to track this guy down. and he helped the U.S. soldiers
Was it
find
not
him.
Saddam Hussein that he showed?
I don't know if I don't think so.
It
I think
was
it was
it
just
was it was like the ace of spades, I think. That's why I was like,
um,
wait a minute. Like when we quickly looked, and I was
uh,
kind of like,
are they
huh.
trying to say that he was involved in that and helped? No, I mean there
That's what
was
I was saying. Like you're rewriting history, which
yeah,
stuff
no.
you're
I think
not
it was
supposed.
somebody, maybe somebody looked like him, that type of deal. But he said he was like, hey, they let me go and put 3 shots in a dying man. So they
Yeah.
already had dropped him, but he went in, he finished him off. So
And
and
then
then
she
that
says
was
that
it.
she trusts him, so that's it.
Yeah. But then he was like, he noticed that she still had a gun on her hip. It's like, yo, yeah, you got to be safe. What if he was
Yeah.
a double agent? What if he did like flip out
Yeah.
and all of a sudden? But she said, I'm keeping this, on the low. It's just with us. And what's going to happen now? A whole lot of nothing. As long as she doesn't get involved in her father's world, which it seems like she is not, then it's fine. It's fine. It's not going to come
It
back to
kind of
bite.
reminds me of the end of, is it the Born Identity, like the third one, when he shows up to explain what happened to the girl's parents. Do you
Oh
remember
man,
that? He
trying to
shows up at
remember.
the end, and it was like one of his first missions that he killed the parents, and the daughter was left like believing that it was a murder suicide.
Hmm. I don't know. All right. Well, if you do remember this, people put
That's
in a
kind of what
comment.
it reminded me of.
It reminds you. Okay. 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 Man.
So,
All right. So what was it? We got a Landry having their conversation. It was with Jed. That's what I have here.
well, this is where we get Edwards gets dumped.
Yeah, that was we talked about this before. I think with the last episode of the situation with his wife, and it was like, oh well, we don't think this because we said it. You didn't have to watch Terminal List. Remember, this is a
Yeah.
prequel. It doesn't matter. But one thing we did know is that we don't remember Ben Edwards ever
He was
talking
kind
about
of
his
just
wife.
like a lone wolf.
Yeah, yeah. And we see, yeah, he's getting into his argument with his wife, and she's basically saying, hey, everyone else came home. You didn't come home.
Yeah.
And I'm getting tired of this. Like, what do you mean? Like, what's going on? She's like, I'm done. I can't. Well, what do you mean by that? And then she just hangs up. He flips out. He throws the phone. He's like, I can't believe this. And then Jed comes out and says, oh, I'm sorry. I was eavesdropping. Couldn't sleep. I heard all that. It gives him this whole funny spiel about, oh, just because you're a bad husband doesn't mean you're a bad operative, and a bad person and all this stuff. It's like, you can't be good at everything. Clearly, this is your third wife. You're not good at this. And this is my argument. And we talked about this. We even paused because, like, why even bother? Why is he getting married multiple times if he's going to pick his job over? Because he could have passed on this. Remember, this was
They
just off. He could have said, nah, I'm going home.
the
I'm
people
done.
do it all the time. They get married again. Like it's like you're buying a car, and it's like, no, this is going to be the right car for me. No, it's probably not. You, um, but yeah, and again, I think they had to write her out only for the fact that we know that he's not married in the Terminal List.
Yeah, yeah. Just write her out. Just take her off this.
It was something again filler. Like we didn't
Well,
even know that he was in. Well, I guess that's like he was supposed to
so
be getting back. It was stuff I don't really need to know.
the only issue I have with this is that from episode 1 of Dark Wolf, which opens at a funeral, and we spent a lot of time with this funeral yesterday looking at it because we were trying to pinpoint who's in the casket. We're like, wait a minute, who's missing here? Because they opened with it, and we're not
Yep,
digging in for something else. They opened with it, so we could see Ben there. There was a woman there with a child, right?
yep.
We see a few other. We see Hastings. He's there, right? It looks like Hastings, but then there's a quick
Well, there's
glance
a
of the
very blurry picture of what looks like Hastings as the
yeah
memorial.
as a
But then we
memorial.
flip to this, and again, this is episode 1, the first scene.
Mm-hmm.
Then we flip to the lady kind of giving her speech, and it's the exact same picture, except that it's a Cortez that's up there. And now this is a very vibrant picture, which almost makes me feel like that one was photoshopped in, like that one was digitally enhanced. So maybe again, when this drops on
Yeah,
Wednesday,
I
we
mean,
have to go watch and because this is the
mhm,
opening scene. So
yeah, it was just interesting because we were just trying to pinpoint what was happening, who is in here, and it could be something else, someone completely different. Yeah, once we're all done, especially
yeah,
with what took place in this episode.
so where are we at?
Let me see here. Yeah, yeah, right. There's a lot going on here. Oh, we get
So then
that.
we basically jump to the team is awaiting their target.
All right, they all get into position. We also now this is one thing that I also again in comments, unless Lawrence, unless you knew this, what was the whole point of Eliza having this conversation with Ben about poetry? Was it she said was it why did she need I don't know where I
I
missed that,
don't know.
but then he
You
was
know,
like, "Oh no, I do no poetry. You can't get this, you can't get that." He was like, "Get here, pick this book." He gives her a book, and she was like, "Oh, you know poetry," and it's talking about a soldier
I
and this
think
whole
I think it was more or less to show that he has a different side to him.
I guess so.
Like
It
he's
was
not just like a he's just not this operator. He's very smart. It's what it's something else that he does. It almost is setting up another live. Like he's already on the move again. His wife just
Is it
dumped him, and he's like, "Hey, how are you doing?"
Oh man, I don't know. It could be, it could be. But then we got Hastings and what you call it? Landry in the car, right? And then they're
Yeah,
having a little conversation. And this is what I was saying about like the comedy and stuff that Landry is pulling off because he goes off on this Tarzan when he finds out that Hastings is from South Africa. And I put this little audio thing. This is interesting.
Tarzan, bro. Tarzan was British.
Was it?
He was British.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't born in Africa. He grew up there, but he was actually British.
Yeah, and I thought everybody knew this because remember the ship crashed there, and the reason why it came up because he was trying to say that he was from there, but I was born there, so I am, African. I was born in Africa.
again, filler we don't need.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it was just funny that this comes up as a thing, and who brings this up? Landry does, and
Yeah,
this is going to be his role, I guess.
I think the only thing that I see here that it is more of a like Hastings still doesn't like this guy. That's
He's
kind
not
of
the
what
only
I
one.
gather.
I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy.
Well, maybe
Oh.
he's mad because he's like, I should be your or your little brother.
Exactly. He was like, "Yeah, you ruined everything for me."
Tell your little brother I wanted to be Thor.
Right? He took my job. Oh man, yeah. I mean, this guy definitely whatever. But in the show itself, I don't see his purpose. Yes, he's a CIA. Yes, he becomes the getaway driver.
We still have
For
4 episodes to go.
yeah, he's gotta do something else. He's got to do something else with this. All right. We see that there was also this part here. It wasn't too much, also, if you think about it, because they were following the professor, right? He's going to
Yeah.
some, they're over at the campus, the college campus there. He was going into some nuclear testing or nuclear research lab. He goes in, there's a private door. He uses his key card. He goes in. Ben just, no one else is around. It is broad daylight, people. And he just follows him. He realizes the door's locked, looks around, reads the sign. He's like, okay. He's doing nuclear testing. Yeah, I thought you all knew this.
He's just
But-
he's just looking in the window with his hat on. This white guy, like he might stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty obvious. I thought this is what was happening. So I wasn't too surprised with this whole thing. I was expecting a little more from this scene, and a whole lot of nothing. There we go, because that was it. We don't see anything on the professor's end. I was expecting to see at least that. Yeah, we're done with all the operatives, and now we're going to see what he's really doing. No, we don't. It cuts after that back to Mo and Ish, right at night. I think this was it too. Maybe this is what happened there.
Well, when the professor meets with them, because the
Yes.
professor meets with Mo, because he doesn't know who he is. He kind of he explains everything to him, right?
Yeah. Because I just realized we did
Right.
jump. We did jump because then in my notes, that's what happened next. That's when they did the following to the apartment because I guess they did their research and then they did that whole thing there.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Um,
See, it was a lot. And then that's yeah, we had the town visiting Mo. We already covered that. That was the thing that happened. Oh man. The Ben and Amy. Yeah, we had a lot. See, we already jumped a lot
yeah,
through here.
there was a lot. I don't want to say there was a lot that happened in this episode. There wasn't a lot that happened in this episode, right to the end.
Well, that was the thing. It was a lot of the setup, but then I'm looking at all this. All right.
A lot of setup. There was an episode of Reacher. We discussed this exact same thing.
Yeah. But
Um,
the big gist, once this is all done, is now they're going to set up the meeting. Now this is it. So Mo is over at the spot. Professor shows up. Everybody's in position again. They're like, all right, this is it. Right.
Yeah.
We're going to have this done. Just like I had brought up before, we got Ben up in the watchtower area. He's Overwatch. Everybody's in position. So the professor shows up, starts talking to him, and he's testing him. He's asking him questions about where he's from, and he's just talking about some donut. Oh, this really tasty donut that's from there. And we all know this. And the guy, Mo is just drinking, and he's got his earpiece in, and that's when Jed tells him the name of this donut. So he spits that out, the name, and the guy, professor's like, yes, that was it. That was a good one. Okay,
Yeah.
That was the test. Now let's get down to business. $5 million, please, for this blueprint, the proof of concept, as he said. For this,
it was $5 million to begin with, and then 50 after, I think it was.
Yeah. He said 50 after. Tal says make the deal. It's like, yeah, we got to see where this goes. I mean, he goes into detail. He goes into detail explaining how the whole thing is going to work for making this bomb, and for them to make this uranium, it's going to take within like a year. They'll have everything ready. The technology is all set in motion that nobody else has. This is going to be some big epic thing. And this is it. That's what he's paying the $5 million for. It's going to show the proof of concept of what he can do and his team.
But when they make it, it's transferred really slow. And you made a joke. You made a comment about it. But again, let's go back 7 years. Are you on 3G or are we still on LTE? And we're in a foreign country. And he's on a Samsung. So
I don't know. I don't know. There's got to be, because the way it was transferring remind me of like something we would see in Mission Impossible. How many times have we seen that? Where they're like, all right, we're sending data or something like that, and you're waiting for the bar to fill. Well, this is supposed to be almost like a PayPal or a Venmo type of transaction. Obviously, larger sums of money. Maybe it's going through some other protocols.
But I've ever gotten.
Exactly. What, you never got $5 million to transfer on a cell phone at a little coffee table? Come on now. But that's the thing. He puts the phone down, and then so does the professor, and then they just sit there and they wait. And we hear little beeping noises, but at the same time, that's when Hastings says, hey, we got 2 guys here. Ben says, no, there's 4 guys here. It's like, all right, we've been made. How? Who knew about this? Somebody else knew. There's
I didn't understand the whole, like, how they got made, because they're just guys showing up. But it is like they keep multiplying. It's like it's like
it was like it's like Mr. Anderson in the Matrix. They was just everywhere. Remember Matrix 2 Reloaded? Like popping up, boom, 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 boom. But Mo is no Neo, even though Ben is a good stand-in with his look. So Mo is like, all right. They were like, you got to go. Just got to. He's like, yeah, I'm almost done. They make the deal. He grabs the phone. He's like, all right, that's it. I'm out. And then that's when he hightails it. A slow walk, but fast enough. He does that technique we've seen in so many movies. Apparently, it's a real thing that they're taught, that as you're walking to change your clothes. Take your jacket inside out, take your shirt inside out, do the whole thing while you're walking. Never stop. So by the time you turn a few different corners, it looks like a completely different person.
Completely different person.
Yeah. So he's doing all of that, making all the changes, walks in through the back of a store, but then once he goes into front, there's 2 guys there. He can handle himself. He took them down, took both of them down, and didn't even break a sweat. Just kept going.
And he walks out and stole that product he killed people with.
Yeah, right. There we go. But once he walks out, though, in that same scene, he's surrounded pretty much. You got one from the north, one from the south, one coming across the street, and then Landry just shows up and says, jump in, let's go. Okay, there you go. He gets him out. And at this point, they go off, and Tal says, "All right, I don't see them. All right, they lost them. They're all leaving except one. One is straying away and just wanders off." And then Ish was like, "I'm gonna follow him." And they're like, "Hey, yeah, yeah, go follow him, see where he's going." All right, tails him. He's going to the subway station. All right, so he's going down there. Hastings says he's en route. So is Ben. They're like, "All right, we're gonna get there." And what happens, man? What happens?
He gets stabbed in the neck. It looked like just sitting right there. I don't know that if after he did it, he saw a security guard and he said, "Please don't bother my friend. He's dead tired."
It wasn't even hiding. He was right there, like it looked next to the steps.
He's just sitting there, sitting straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But we end up seeing the knife that he's using.
Yeah.
But as they go down there, well, as Edwards goes down there, he sees them and realizes he's KIA.
It's sad. This is sad. Couldn't believe it. And which is it? I'm not to say it's funny or anything, but it was very surprising. So he says it was like he's KIA. He's like, "All right, looking for the guy, whatever." And then Hastings is like, "Don't move. I'm coming. Stay there, stay there." And then they cut to Tal, and we see Jed, and he's crying already. And he's crying. He's like, "You get him, you get him, you get that." He's just. I wasn't expecting that level of emotion so soon. I don't know. It just seemed like he
But we
could
also
not
don't know.
believe it.
He's worked with Ish before.
Yeah. They have a
So, I mean,
history.
this is not something new, right?
No. But it was just surprising. But while that's happening, Ben looks over and he sees the target. The train pulls in. Guy gets on the train. What are you going to do? And then he just said it, because at first I thought that once he jumped in the train and we see that Hastings shows up and he sees that Ben is on the train, that he was going to get upset, because as we saw in the last episode, Hastings was like, "Hey, if I jump in on this with you, you do it by the book. Pull what you did before."
Oh, we
And,
also have Edwards ask, "What are the rules of engagement?"
exactly. They're flexible.
Yes, but we already had Haverford tell them, he wants him dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was upset. He was like, just get him. Just get him.
So it makes you wonder, like, maybe this kid is someone else to him.
Yeah. I mean, he
Or
doesn't.
maybe
He
they
looks
work together.
Clearly, he's younger. Ish is younger than Jed. So maybe this is one of those. Oh, he was the youngest guy of his unit to come in. He took him under his wing. That type of deal. That's all. Or maybe because he called him to get involved on this. Because remember, he said, "I'm here because you called me in," and now he called him in and he led him to his death.
I'm sure we'll find out who he is, and then
Yeah. It was sad. It's a big shock, though. That's a big shock.
Yeah.
Very early on, we would just introduce him in this episode, and now he's gone. So we see that Edwards is on the train. He's sitting down. He's just keeping an eye on the target, who's at the far end of the car, standing next to the door. And as you said, he's got that knife. You can see the knife. Ben sees the knife. He calls Tal. He says, "I need you to turn off CCTV." She's like, "All right." She could turn it off on the M1 line. Okay. I mean, this is, I don't know how. I get it. There's hacking and all this stuff. We get it. We've seen it in movies and shows, but for something of this level to turn off all the cameras in the subway station there, I would think would set off some alarms in the local police, for, hey, someone just hacked into our system and turned all the cameras off. I don't know. It's TV land. This is stuff that happens.
You just know that it's TV land.
It's TV land. This is something they can do. And so once he's about to, it looks like he is going to, because you even said, it's like, oh, they're going to do some hand to hand. It looked like it was going to get to that point.
It looked like it was getting violent.
Yeah, but there's a little kid sitting right across from Ben with a little smile, like, "Hey,"
smiles at him, waves at him.
Yeah, and it just warms Ben's heart, and you know how he feels about kids, so he's like, and I thought that's it. I was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna get away," because then it pulls up to the train.
You don't see him right away when they, you don't really see him right away when they point it out again.
No. Right, so you think, oh, it's gonna be done. That's it. The guy's gonna get away, but no. Ben just gets up real quick, shoots him a couple of times. People start
Shoots him like
screaming.
4 times. Yeah.
Yeah. He takes his camera out, takes some pictures, of the target, and then leaves. He walks out, and that's
Yeah.
it. And that's
It was
how we
very
go.
anticlimactic.
Yeah. I noticed a pattern with this show that it's always like the last 20 minutes, 15 minutes where things start getting real crazy. There's a
Like
build up. They
Sinners.
do. Oh no, not like Sinners. Sinners took hours, at least over an hour to get to the action. But at least it seems like this is. I'm just wondering if we're going to see, and maybe like a full episode of things just getting crazy through the whole
Yeah.
thing, as opposed to just, all right, well, we know this is going to lead to some conflict shooting, whatever, at the end of the episode. Because, yeah, as we saw here, we saw some filler, we saw some story development for some characters, and like the whole thing with Mo, we got his backstory. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We got somewhat of a backstory with Jed, with the history of Ish. Doesn't even matter now. Ish is gone. There goes that. Well, we got that was pretty much it that we got from that the main target from the last episode has a daughter. Okay, I think she's one and done. I think that one's also.
Yeah, there's no reason.
There's no reason for that one. She's in the same category. If you're putting up cards everywhere, there's a daughter, there's Ish, right? Those two are boom, boom, boom. Right. And I think that this is it. Going forward, then what? You think they're gonna find a replacement? Because if we go back to our episode 1 and what we just said of the picture of the funeral, it was a different person. We have yet to see this person pop up, but that person was in the terminal list.
Okay, but here's the whole thing. That was 7 years after this.
Yes.
It may have absolutely nothing to do with it.
Then they should have never given us that.
Maybe scene. It's just another. It was another operator that he dealt with, or that he was with at some point. But there's no Hastings in there, so it makes you think that it's Hastings. But we don't know yet.
We don't know. It could be a red herring. Who knows? They want us to think about all this stuff, and then be like, gotcha. That's going in next year. But yeah, he gets out of the train station. There goes that. Jed tells him to disappear because the police. There's no witnesses. What? There was witnesses, but CCTV was off. Police don't know who they're looking for yet. Well, if they do their job and just like Law and Order type of just question people, question the kid. Kid made direct eye contact.
I was like looking directly at him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely. But he tells them to disappear, stay low, and they'll get past this and then move on. Because now they just still have to figure this out. Now, the question I have going forward in the next episode, does he know any of this happened? I don't think he did, right? Because it wasn't like, yeah, I mean, he didn't. It's not like Mo got up and ran. He got up and walked away, and they just went their separate ways. That was it. So he probably doesn't know all this. But the question is, who is a third party? My guess is that phone was bugged. And somebody is reading the text messages and they're tracking it. And there was somebody else with their own interests in this. That's all. But also, you got some major players in this arms deal trade that went missing. I'm sure they had other high-end friends that want to know what's going on and do some
kind of like Dexter. These serial killers keep disappearing and no one's questioning.
Exactly, no one's questioning. All right, here's the big point. And I'm sure a lot of people watching and listening, I'm like, man, I didn't even think about that. GPS tracking of that phone. I didn't hear Tal say, hey, I'm checking to see if this
was there GPS tracking back then.
Yes, you could do that on satellite phones also, way back. And this isn't even that back. We're not even going 10 years. So yeah, you could definitely do tracking.
But that was okay. I guess it depends on what kind of phone it was. It looks like they all have iPhones.
If she could hack into the CCTV and turn off all the cameras from a click of a button,
but I'm just saying, if it doesn't have GPS on it, that's all I'm saying.
If it doesn't have it could be some spoof software that they have on it or something. It could have been a security measure. Maybe he had that in place. If something ever happens to me, and they tie me up, track my phone. So you could find me. And I bet that's how this is all going about. It's got to be back to the phone. Something's going on. Definitely not the professor. Professor is not setting anybody up here. He wants his money. He wasn't even nervous. That's the other thing. I mean, at first, Mo was like, hey, relax. It's a business transaction. I didn't understand why he said that, because the professor looked cool as a cucumber. You know, he sat down. He even started questioning him, like we said, with the donut and all that stuff. He wasn't like, with the skittish types, like who's got a gambling problem. It's like, you got the money? You know what I mean? We're expecting that. No, this professor, no, he was okay. He knows what
Yeah.
he's doing, which makes me feel like, oh, he's done this before.
But
But
that's it.
yeah,
That's
that's it. Episode 3. So far, if I have to grade of what we've seen, episode 1, really good. 2, I think, was the best so far.
I agree.
And right, and then 3,
And I hope it leads to something. Because if
Yeah.
it doesn't, then it was just like, hey, we can't do 6 episodes, so let's just do 7. Again, we saw this with Reacher. It's very disappointing.
yeah. I hope there's no big filler, but I have a feeling we might get some flashbacks. I just don't want a flashback episode. I don't like flashback episodes. Full episodes dedicated. I don't like it, and I feel like we're gonna get some backstory with Jed and Ish and the whole thing. Because man, that emotion came quick. I mean, they're trained soldiers. Things happen. You got his mind on the eye on the prize, and when they cut him, and you hear him, and physically, he's crying already. He is crying.
This guy is crying too.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you haven't been able to hear this guy. This guy is whining.
Yep. But anyway, everybody, thanks for sticking with us. Please like, subscribe. We're covering the entire season, like we do all the other shows, and we'll be back for episode 4. And then also, by the time this is out, you'll also see that we should have queued up for this week the episode 9 of Dexter Resurrection. That's it. We're almost done with Dexter too. That's 9 and 10, and it's done. So we'll be back for that. So again, thanks everybody. I'm Adam. He's Lawrence, and we'll talk to you later.